Have you ever looked at a piece of modern art and thought, what is that? Or maybe you've shaken your head and said, that looks like it was painted by a 4-year-old. Well, according to PBS, that was the very criticism that the world-famous Pablo Picasso heard as he unveiled his masterpiece Guernica in 1937. Honestly, many of us have looked at a piece of modern art and wondered about its creation. But if we were to study those pieces, as our group studied Guernica, we might just find an appreciation for the artistry and its possible meaning. According to the PabloPicasso.org website, Guernica is perhaps Picasso's most famous work, and it is certainly his most bold political statement. To understand the painting, we must know a little about its creator and the world in which it was created. Pablo Ruiz y Picasso was born in Malaga, Spain in 1881. The Picasso website tells us his father was an artist and young Pablo grew up around culture and art. He studied at the Royal Academy of Arts in Barcelona, but most of his learning came while painting in Paris. He was influenced by other painters there, and the site goes on to say that his contribution to Cubism, his ability to master almost any style, and his prolific collection made him one of the biggest influences on the art world in the 20th century. So what is Guernica, and why did Picasso paint a picture by that name? Guernica is a small town in the Basque region of northern Spain. During the time of the Spanish Civil War, when Picasso created Guernica, the town was a stronghold of the Spanish Republican government, a government filled with communist and socialist factions and, sources agree, no real ideology except to defeat the fascist government known as the Nationalists, led by General Francisco Franco. During that war, Picasso lived and painted in Paris. While there, PBS tells us that he was commissioned by the small Spanish Republican government to paint a mural for the Spanish Hall of the Paris International Exposition, or World's Fair. The Picasso website and PBS both say, however, that Picasso did not like political art and did not want to be involved in politics. He was a pacifist and opposed war. So, though he knew they wanted him to paint something that supported the oppressed Spanish people, Pablo was not inspired to create this mural with political content. Then, according to PBS, on April 27, 1937, the small town of Guernica was bombed. The bombing by German planes was at the request of Franco, and it went on for more than 3 hours and killed more than 1,600 people. To quote PBS, it was a massacre. Picasso, upon reading about the bombing in a Parisian paper on May 1st, was outraged at the brutality on the innocent life and began painting Guernica almost immediately. It was Guernica, not the original mural, that was unveiled in July at the Paris Exposition. So now we know the story of Guernica. PBS tells us the painting was met with criticism. To quote the German Fair Guide, it is a hodgepodge of body parts that any 4-year-old could have painted. Perhaps they didn't know the whole story, or maybe they did.